All right, gamers, today we're going to sail through the African country with Livingstone. Let's check it out. To set up for this game, all you need is to get all of your player colors tints. You'll get your own little treasure chest of your color that can open up, but you don't open it up till the end of the game. It's a cool little treasure chest there. And then you will start with 3 coins. Now, how this game works is you're going to put your little player token here at 0 on the victory track marker here. You put the little boat, which is going to count the rounds as it slowly moves down this river. You'll put it right here at the first one. And then you're going to gather and you're going to roll dice. And you're going to roll as many dice as there are players in the game times 2. So for instance, if we're playing a 2-player game, I'm rolling just 4 die. 3-player game, 6 die, and then so on and so forth. So let's say I'm playing a big 5-player game here. And I roll these die. So I roll the die, and then what we're going to do is we're going to just count them out here. Whoop, that was a 2, 3. We're going to put them in descending or ascending order here. Lots of 4s. 2 5s and a 6. Okay, so then the game begins. It starts with the first player and then goes around. And every turn it'll have a different first player. So the first player has to decide which one of these die does he want and what does he want to do with it. There are several things you can do in this game. So for instance, if I picked the number 6 die, I could plant a tent. And planting a tent is how we're going to get victory points in this game. Now if you look at the bottom of the board here, you see there are coin numbers here ranging from 1 to 6. Every round it costs to pitch a tent on the land here. So right now it costs me 1 coin to pitch one of my green tents. If I in the second round it costs me 2, and then later on 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're going to always need money if you want to set up tents in that area. So I picked a 6, which means I can set my tent right here on the 6th part. Now because I did that, I get 6 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the higher you go to set up your tent, the more victory points you're going to receive. But wait, there are advantages to putting up a tent right here in the 1 level and only getting 1 victory point. Because at the end of the game, whoever has the most tents in those areas will get additional victory points. And the most who have most in 6, they only get 2 victory points bonus. But if you have the most in 1, you can get up to 12 victory points. So the numbers actually increase the lower you do it. So it definitely gives you an advantage. You kind of want to put tents in all of the areas and see if you can get those ending victory points. Now that's just one of the things I can do. But let's say I did not set up a tent. Let's say instead of this, I wanted to draw gems from the bag. There's a bag of gems here, and you're going to dig and draw out that many as you have pips on the die. So in this instance, I could pick 6 gems. Now in those gems, there are 4 colors you can look for. There's black, which is worth nothing, it's worthless. There's clear, which is worth 1 gold coin. Blues, which are worth 3 coins, and reds, which are worth 5 coins. And so you're going to be pulling these out. Any blacks you'll just throw out, over into the discard pile. And any of these jewels you cash in will also go into a discard pile. They will not go back into the bag. You never put gems back into the bag until someone draws the white gem. There's only 1 in the bag. And if you draw the white gem, then you take all the gems that are in the discard pile. Not if I was maybe saving this gem for later on, this would not go in the discard pile. But any other gems that were already used or discarded would go back into the bag, and everything would get shuffled again. And to be honest, there's times we've played where this is the last gem in the bag, unbelievably. But that's the only way that you would put gems back into this bag. Now, gems can also be cashed out for victory points at the end, so you may want to save those up. Another thing I could do, and it doesn't matter which denomination I have, but whatever die I pick, I could also just pick a card. And these cards they're like cheats in the game, and the instructions here give you a great player aid on what each one of the cards signify. But they can give you extra victory points, let you put tents down for free, and do other things. Get coins, get gems, pull gems, convert gems into more victory points. There's several different things cards can do in the game. And again, it doesn't matter which denomination you pick, but whichever one you pick, even if I pick the 6, I would only pick one card. Now, there is a disadvantage for me just picking that 6, because if I were to pick a 1, that may be more beneficial in this round. Because here's how it happens. Let's say I went with the 1, okay? I just picked a 1 this time. And the next 5 players, player 2 said, well, I'm grabbing this 6. And player 3 and 4 grabbed the 5s, and so 2, 3, 4, and player 5 grabbed this 4. Well, on my turn, as long as there's a die that's higher than the number that I first chose, I may go again. And as you see, there's a 2, 3, and 4 here. Now, the other players, they would not get to go again. Even the 5th player who picked the 4th die, because he can't pick another 4, he has to go higher than that. So sometimes it benefits you to pick the lowest die, because you'll probably get to go again, as long as there is a die higher than yours. So in this case, I would go 2, 3, 4. I really lucked out that time if all the other players went for the big number die. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Picking the lower die, you may get to go again in the game if there's die available. Now, after that's done, first player switches to the other player, and you'll just re-roll the die. Now, let me explain the treasure chest. What the treasure chest signifies is money for the queen. And during your turn, if you want to, the game says you must announce that you are giving money to the queen. You do not have to tell them how much. In fact, you'll cover your hand over it and just plop the coins in the treasure chest there. Now, coins come in different denominations of 1s, 3s, 5s, and 10s, and you can put whichever ones you want in there. In fact, you may say, I'm putting a lot in there, and you may not put that much, or whatever you want to do. But you cannot open it, you cannot take it back. Once it's in there, it stays there for the rest of the game. Now, this is important. This is a house rule that we have, but I think it should be a rule for everyone. When it says you have to announce it to everyone, and how we announce it, we go, for the queen, and then we cover our thing. But you have to say, for the queen, like that. Really awesome, and that's something that we always do during our games, and it's a lot of fun to say. Now, this is important because at the end of the game, and the end of the game is, of course, when this ship gets all the way to the end of that waterfall, and once it's done, then everyone's going to empty out their treasure chest. Whoever had the least amount of money is automatically disqualified from the game, because the queen's unhappy that they gave the least amount from their travels through, looks like Africa here. And so they're going to be very upset. And so you're out of the game instantly. So you need to watch out on how much money you're donating your treasure chest, because you don't want to fall behind the other players, or you'll be out of the game. Now, of course, at the end of the game, you'll be counting up any victory points. Maybe you have cards in your hand where you can convert gems to victory points and whatnot. The person with the most victory points at the end of when the ship gets here, wins the game. Final thoughts. What do I think about the game? Oh my goodness. When I first heard of this game, I was not interested. I saw this little Playroom emblem. I said, yeah, that's not going to be interesting. And I passed it up. And I can't remember where I saw something on it, but it caught my interest because it has 3 of some of my favorite mechanics from other games. The dice drafting. That is very similar to what you see in Grand Austria Hotel, a game that I love. The digging through crystals in a bag is very similar to Quartz, which is another game I enjoy. And then, of course, the donating the money in there, and the player with the least amount of money gets at the end of the game without even points being calculated. That is very similar to Cleopatra in the Society of Architects. Folks, those are 3 games that I love, and this has all 3 of them in one game. Wow, what a winner! And you know what? Every time I brought this out to my gaming groups, different groups, when I bring this game out, they do the same thing. They're like, oh yeah, we're going to play Livingstone from Playroom. Yeah, Matt. And at the end of it, they're going, wow, that was a great game. Yes, it was a great game. This is well worth your time. Now, this is kind of weird because at the BGG Bazaar, I saw this game for like $10, and I should have picked up a second copy and gifted it to someone because that's a great deal. But you can find this game relatively cheap online here and there when you look for it. And if you see it, folks, you've got to get this game. It is a super fun game with a lot of options and a whole lot of fun in the box itself. And of course, it is always fun to say, "For the Queen," when you're making those deposits in the treasure chest. All right, folks, that's all the time I have for now. Until next time, gamers, game on!